Hi students, so today we are going to discuss another very important topic in programming, and that is related to the for loop. So last time we have discussed a very important loop statement, and that is basically the while statement. So what is basically the while statement? So while statement is used in the scenarios where we have some condition and we have to iterate through some other statements unless and until that statement is false. Okay, so that loop is usually used for the looping structure where we have to fulfill some condition. But as far as the for loop is concerned, so for loop is used without any condition, and it is used for the iteration through many steps which are predefined. Okay, so let us have the statement of a for loop. So let us have the statement, and in writing the for loop, first of all we use for, and after for we have to define the variable across which will be used for the iteration. So mostly the variables used for the iterations are basically I, J, K, etc. Okay, you may also use other variables, but in programming communities mostly I, J, K are used. Okay, so let us have I here. So for I in, and after writing it we have to define some lists here. So in list let us have some numbers. So let me write the numbers as 2, 4, 8 and 9. Okay, so these are the numbers. So what will happen? So in this looping structure, this I will iterate through all these constituents and will print all the numbers, or will iterate through all these terms. Okay, so that is the basic terminology for loop statement. And what will happen here, let me print the value of I here. So after printing it, we can see here that each and every term like 2, 4, 8, 9 will be printed here, because I is iterated through the list available here. Okay, so here we have another very important terminology, and that is this in. So what is in, and why is it used in the for loop? So let us have another variable, and let me write it like j. So if the value of j is 10, and we have another list, so let me call it lst, and the values in this list are 2, 8, 10, 3, 6, or let me remove 10 here. Okay, so we have a number here which is equal to 10 and a list here. So in order to see that whether the number which is assigned the value of 10 is available in this list or not, we usually use the operator here, and that is in. So j in list lst, what is it asking is that whether this j is in this list or not. So what will happen, what is in the back end is that the in statement will take this j and iterate through all these terms and see that whether this j is present here or not. So if the j is present here, it will say yes or true, or otherwise it will say no. So we can see here that 10 is not available here, which is the value assigned to this j. So what should be the value which will be obtained after this statement? That will be false. Okay, so it can be very easily concluded from this statement. Okay, similarly, if I make it 10, so you can easily see here that the value here is 10, which is already available here. So when I will rerun it, and so it will tell me that yes, this j equal to 10 is already available here in this list. Okay, so that's why in for loop this in is used. Why this in is used? Because the iterative nature of this in operator. So what happens here is that if for when I write this for here, so initially I will be assigned the value of 2, after it will be assigned value of 4, then 8, then 9, and if I want to print it, it will be printed like this one. Okay, so that is the simplified version, and I have told you the reason that why in is used. Okay, so that's it. And similarly, if let us suppose if we have to iterate the value of I 10 times. Okay, so what will happen? I can write here that for, let me write k, for k in, and writing the values here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so I can very easily iterate through it, and let me print the value of k here, and I will very easily see that the value of k will be from 1 to 10. Similarly, if I have to iterate it through 20 values, it will be very easy for me to write the values in the list statement here, and I have to iterate it over all these values. So what if I have to iterate through the thousands or millions or billions of values? So what should I have to do? It will be very difficult for me then to write all those values in this list. So what I have to do, there should be the statement or operator in Python which will give me some certain numbers of values in a list, and the for loop will have to be operated through all these elements. Okay, for this Python have a very important command here, and that is the range command. So what is the range command? Let me write range of 5. So what will happen that writing range equal to 5 basically allocates some memory location, and in that memory location it will store the values from 0 to 4 when it will be provoked. So if range equal to 5 has been written, so nothing will happen. As you can see very easily here that you are not going to see the values from 0 to 4, but all we are getting is this range object. When it will be provoked, when I will write for I in range of 5. Okay, so this range of 5 means it will be included 5 values which will range from 0 to 4. So 0 to 4 are basically the 5 values, and that's why this 5 is written here. So if I will write print here, print I, so I can see very easily that the values from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 are printed here. Okay, similarly, there is very important terminology which is related to this range, and that is if I don't want to start it from 0 and start it from other value, like I have to start it from 5 and I have to end it at some other value, like I have to end it at 200. So let me write 201, because now this end value will be incremented by 1, because now we will have the values from 5 to 200. Okay, and how much difference should I have? That is basically related, or that is basically dependent upon the values which you want to insert. So let me write 10 here, and here after 5 what I will get? I will get 15, then 25, then 35, and so on. So it will be carried out until and unless I will get the least value, which is minimum as that of 201. Okay, so let me run it here, and running it like this one again give me this object, and it is again the efficiency of the Python language that it is not invoked until and unless the for loop is used. Okay, similarly you can also write it like range of 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. You can write all these values, and after running it you can see that the values or the object will be like this one, unless and until I will provoke it by using the for loop. And you can very easily observe that if I use the for loop here, it will take so much time and computation and power resources. So that's why this range operator is very energy and power and computational efficient. So let me stick to this problem. So for I in range of 5, is the initial value 201 because 200 is the final value, and let me write the difference between every number as 10, and now printing the value of I here. So what will happen? You can see that the values are starting from 5, which is already mentioned here, and these will be incremented by 10, which is mentioned here, and at the end what I will get the least value, which is at the minimum as that of this 201, and which is when incremented by 10 will give me the value which is higher than this 200. Okay, so that's it for the for loop, and we have seen different combinations and different scenarios where for loop can be used. Similarly, there is another very important scenario that if I have to iterate through the list here, so let us have the list which I have already defined, which is this one. Okay, so what if I want to iterate through this list such as that I have to run the loop with respect to the length of this list? So what will happen? There is another command which is called this length. So writing the length here, what will happen? We can very easily see that this is 5. Suppose in a scenario I have to iterate through the list 5 times. Okay, so what will happen? I have to write for I, for j in. What I have to do, I have to make a journal equation, and what will happen here is length of list. So when I will write it like this and print it like j, what will happen? Nothing will happen because it is saying an int object is not iterable. So what should I have to do here? I have to write the range command, and this range will do that. The highest value here will be this 5, and it will start iterations from 0 and will end at 4, and it will run for the 5 times from 0 to 4 because from 0 to 5 are basically in total 5 numbers. So let me run it now, and you can very easily see that the values here are basically 0 to 4. So this statement, this specific, in many scenarios you will see that this statement will be used. Why is it used? Because it has to, the for loop has to be used or has to iterate this j up to the length of the list, whatever or whichever we have. Okay, so that's it for the list and the for loop, in which we have covered many computational and very important points related to the Python loops and Python statements. Okay, so I think it's enough for today, and it will be very easy for you to now run and play with all the loop statements, either these are conditional or non-conditional. So thank you so much, and I will see you in the next